What's going on? Jake here with Uncommon EDC. Today I thought I could show you the Lochby Venture Pouch. This is a wax canvas pouch, 9 inches tall by 4.75 inches wide, and has a really unique layout. A layout that I think is best optimized as an admin type pouch, but should be pretty versatile. I could see this one as a really cool mini toolkit, especially around like specific hobbies. Everyday gear organizer that you toss into a larger backpack or messenger bag, or even as a crossbody sling. It has these D-rings on the back that allow you to convert it to a sling. Now it doesn't include a strap, so you're gonna have to track some down on your own, but if that's your preferred method of carry, D-rings are gonna be a pretty universal mounting option for different types of straps. Now, available in the normal lineup of Lochby colors, that's your brown, your black, and your navy. I stuck with the brown just to keep uniform with all of my other pouches, but for whatever reason the navy I think looks especially good on this pouch, and so I was really tempted by that one. Now I did purchase this one myself. These are $49 over on the Lochby website. However, I do have a coupon code, Uncommon EDC, that if you choose to use it, it's going to save you some money while also putting a couple dollars in my pocket to buy more gear for the channel in the future. That being said, let's dive in. First thing I like about this is really clean, simple design. Lochby does a good job of that, not super flashy. We have the Lochby tag front and center, and then otherwise a super sterile design that's really gonna allow that patina to shine through as it ages. And speaking of patina, wax canvas on the exterior. Can't say enough good things about wax canvas. It's durable, it looks good, it's water resistant, and like I said, it just patinas really nicely as it ages and gets the wear on it, just very similar to like leather. And so really love that aspect about it. Empty, this one is about 2 inches thick. You can see mine's a little bit thicker with the gear in it. It can probably expand up to a good 4 inches. There's a lot of real estate to work with in this one. 5.5 ounces empty, and obviously both those numbers are gonna change as you fill it with gear. So flipping over to the back, we have that same kind of simple, clean design back here, nothing really going on. Outside of those D-rings that I mentioned, you can pair with the strap to convert it to a crossbody, and this grab handle, which is made up of an inch wide strip of nylon that's been folded in half and sewn together. And so that's gonna be perfect for a pouch of this size. If you do keep it in a backpack or somewhere, you can just rip that out with that grab handle. And then we have YKK zippers securing our two main pockets, and there's two pockets on this one. Either one could really be considered the main pocket. The one here on the right is your typical side access panel. The one on the left is a clamshell opening, and they kind of interact with each other in a pretty unique way, which we'll see here in a second. So we'll dive in. One YKK zipper on that side access panel, two on the clamshell side. And so they do all have these paracord pulls, which you can easily remove if they're not your preferences. Zippers are also coated to match the pouch itself, so really nice looking zippers, and those paracords do act as a little bit of a silencer, not really much rattle to speak of on this one. So this pocket's going to be a little bit harder to see inside just because you don't have full access to open it up like you do with the clamshell opening, but you'll see that high-vis ripstop nylon in here, that honeycomb pattern that we see on all of the other Lochby products and pouches. Inside we have this divider, which is actually the other pocket, so you can see how thick this divider is. If that pocket's empty, it becomes this really thin divider, so depending on how much you load out in either of these pockets, it's going to cannibalize a little bit of space from the others, which is pretty typical with a pouch like this, but definitely worth mentioning. And we will revisit this when I get the gear out of the other side, just so you can see how much thinner it is. Right now it's a good 1.25 to 1.5 inches thick, but it goes out to basically flat when you unload it. So behind that divider we have a Hank from Junk and Genius. Really dope design on this one, and I'll make sure to link to the gear that you see in this video as well, not just the pouch, in the description. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can definitely do so. But we have that on one side of the divider. On the other, we have our log and jotter. This is the June edition. I have a paper clip on there to keep my page. Just started this one actually, only I think 3 or 4 pages into it. But you can fit longer, slimmer items in here. Obviously, you have the full use of the entire height of this pouch. It's probably not quite 9 inches, even though it is on the exterior with those seams. And then as you fill it up, it kind of widens out a little bit and thickens up. And so that ends up shortening the overall height. And so you probably have about 8.5 or so inches of usable space. And the zipper, even less access. So if you do have something longer than about 7.25 to 7.5 inches, you do have to kind of shift it in there to make sure that it fits. Now there is a little bit of organization here besides the divider that breaks it up a little bit, and I don't know how well this will even show on camera. I'll try and hold it up here. So we have these two mesh pockets that divide this pocket basically evenly in the halfway point. And so there's Velcro at the top. I purposely loaded something that passes that Velcro and something that doesn't, just to show that you can really use it in either capacity. So in the leftmost pocket, I just have this backup battery from Movement. This is a 5,000 milliamp battery that charges via wireless charging, and that fits in here perfectly, but doesn't allow the Velcro to close, but still no problem. Obviously, this is secured shut with those zippers and shouldn't be an issue if you want to put taller objects in there. But if you want to go with shorter objects, you can Velcro it shut, and you can hear me opening that. On the other side, I just have a brass Zippo from JRW, just your standard size Zippo. Nothing too crazy going on there. This one's kind of hard to get, so I may just link to General Zippo since this one is pretty limited, but just wanted to show how those two pockets can be interacted with. And I guess I can measure them out. It's a little bit hard to get the ruler in here, but looks like that one, they're about 4 inches each or so in width. And so we'll zip this side up. We'll come back over here once we get everything out of the other side, just to show what that divider looks like without the gear. And so we have 2 zippers on this one, which is great. It allows you to put those zippers either on the top side or bottom, depending on how you prefer to open it. And nice smooth YKK zippers, of course. Nearly a full clamshell, not quite 100% clamshell. There's a little bit of a end here where it doesn't fully open, but you can see we can open this up like a book, can see all your content. That's going to be great for organizing your content and seeing it and being able to pull it out when seeing exactly what you're grabbing. Not so great for if you just want to dump stuff in there, because if you open this up and it's not secured to one of these straps, it's just going to dump out once you fully clamshell open it. So this one's more for your organized gear. We'll measure out these straps once I get the gear out, but from left to right, on the left side we have our kind of narrower elastic straps, and on the right we have the wider ones for your bigger pieces of gear. So we do have a brass Countycom pin. I'll link to, again, these in the description. We have the Countycom titanium bit driver. This is 1/4-inch bits, has the storage for I think 3 bits on the interior, plus you can leave one riding on it while you're carrying it. And so that's nice, fits in that pen slot really nicely. We have the Well-Tool T1 Pro. This was a recent going gear. I believe this is only one setting. I've been trying it out. I haven't read the instructions, but I haven't been able to figure out to get into any other settings. But really great looking flashlight, and also pretty bright, so definitely excited to check that out a little bit more. Next up, onto the right side, we have the Benchmade Mini Adamas. So this is a bigger knife. Even though it's named Mini, it's actually a pretty good size knife, so those straps are definitely have a lot more real estate to fit your larger items. And last but not least, we have the Leatherman rebar, which is a full-size multi-tool, albeit a slim one, and so that fits in there nicely as well. Back is that ripstop nylon, and then we have these elastic straps going across. Those are 2-inch strips of elastic, and the width on these, first one is just about spot on to 1 inch. Second one, same thing. It looks like they're maybe like 1/8 and 1/8 actually, so just slightly wider than 1 inch. This one kind of goes over into that center seam there, and so maybe a hair larger, but going to be about the same amount of usable space. Again, about 1 inch and 1/8. Nearly 2 inches here. We're a hair under, maybe 1/8 or even 1/16 of an inch under. And then last but not least, this one goes all the way into that seam. So again, right on that same kind of size. This one actually has a little bit less usable space because it's tucking into that seam, so it did seem like it fit narrower items. But now that we have that empty, we can zip this back up, and we'll go back to the other side to see just how narrow that divider ended up being. And you can see how they kind of interact with each other, give you more space on the opposite side if you underload one or the other. And again, there's a lot of room for expansion with this. It's pretty loosely sewn, and so you can expand this up to probably a good 3.5–4 inches in thickness if you want to. And I definitely went a little bit lighter on the loadout just to keep this a little bit shorter, but really, really nicely done. And you can see that center divider a lot better now. You also have access for thicker, wider items in here if you keep some flatter, thinner items on the opposite side. So really cool pouch. I'm really excited to explore this one, try it out with different loadouts, have some plans on stuff I want to do with this one. So definitely excited to just spend more time with it, but would love to hear your thoughts on it down in the comments below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, joining the channel as a member. All help the channel out a ton. I of course will link to this as well as all of the items you saw in this video down in the description of the video. Some of those will be affiliate links, some may not be, but whenever possible I try and use them. Just like I said, it helps the channel by allowing me to buy more gear in the future. All gets poured back into the channel though. But thanks again for watching, and until next time, hope you have a great one. Take care.